The rewrite starts the same as how Diamond is Unbreakable normally does. It's a quiet, peaceful day in Morio, April 1999. People slowly walk or drive their daily commute to work or school. The sun shines brightly on the city, setting a sort of drowsy stupor over everyone outside. The sound of the morning broadcast, Moriocho Radio, with the host Kai Harada, drifts from many open windows as people get ready for the day. With the breeze blowing slightly, the birds singing, and everyone quietly bustling about their business, it truly feels like a quaint, beautiful day. Some people would say that this is the effect that Morio has on everyone and everything in this surrounding area. And from here, we'd cut to our protagonist, Josuke Higashikata, as he walks to school, excited for a new term. Now, a quick note before we go any further, I am planning to keep the characterization of the main cast the same. I don't have a problem with how any of them are written, other than Koichi being willing to start a relationship with a girl who literally kidnapped, tortured, and then tried to murder him. Just how they're utilized at certain points in the story. Anyway, for this intro scene, Josuke walks to school, he beats up the bullies when they make fun of his hair, he heals the turtle, all of that is the same. Our first change comes when he notices a man in a white trench coat watching him from across the square. But he turns away when Josuke looks at him. He shrugs it off and keeps walking to school when he hears a suspicious noise in some bushes next to him. Josuke turned his head to the right. In the wooded area, he thought he had seen something moving. He saw a bush rustle. Was someone hiding in there?
Hello?
Josuke calls. No response. Josuke leaned in closer. He had probably just imagined it, but he suddenly couldn't shake the feeling that there was someone staring at him from the trees.
Hey!
Josuke said again. There was still no response. There was a faint rustling sound again. The hair on Josuke's neck stood on end. He clenched his fist, ready to defend himself. This place was giving him a bad feeling. He started to walk away. Then a low moan sounds from the trees. It was faint, and Josuke almost didn't hear it, but in the dead silence, it sounded loud and clear to his alert senses.
Hello?
He called one more time, a bit more panicked.
Are you alright?
He made his way past the bushes and pushed further into the trees, looking for the source of the sound. The tree branches loomed overhead, and thick brambles clung to his uniform pants, but Josuke pushed forward. As he went through the thicket, the light from the morning sun grew dimmer as the trees became thicker. Tripping through a bramble patch, Josuke saw something lying on the ground. He got closer to investigate, and gasped and brought his hand to his face, biting his lower lip in fear. Lying in the center of a clearing was a humanoid figure, a woman from the looks of it. It was hard to tell, though. Her face was frozen in fear like she was giving a silent scream, and her whole body was shriveled, like all the water in her had been sucked dry. Her clothes hung loosely to her shrunken frame, and most bizarre of all, her arms ended in stumps, like both her hands had been cut off. She wasn't moving at all, and on the side of her neck were 4 holes, in a vertical line down the side of her jugular vein. Josuke felt bile rising in the back of his throat, but he forced down the urge to vomit. He had never seen anything so grotesque in his life. He stood there with his hand over his mouth, staring at her for quite a long time, unsure of what to do. Eventually, a thought occurred to him. This woman, she had to be dead. So where had the moaning sound come from?
Maybe she isn't dead. There might still be time to...
Josuke rushed forward and knelt down at the woman's side. If she was still alive, then he might be able to save her. He called forth his ability. His body seemed to ripple and give a ghostly glow, and then the second form came forward fully this time. A tall, powerful, humanoid figure that he had summoned. Its body covered in thick, diamond-colored plates of armor, and a series of tubes ran between its head and neck. Its rippling muscles and sharp, blue eyes struck fear into those who could see him. This was Josuke's ability. This silent, ghost-like figure had manifested itself to his aid for as long as he could remember, obeying his will completely. No one could see it except for him. The ghost reached out and touched the woman's face. Josuke's ability was to fix things, anything that was damaged or destroyed. His ability was to reach down to a subatomic level and rearrange it into its original shape, or an entirely unique one, which was what he had done to the bully's face earlier. If this woman was still alive, he could use his fixing ability to heal her and save her. But when he touched her, nothing happened. The water in her body didn't return, and neither did her severed hands. Slowly, Josuke put his head to her chest. He didn't hear anything. Her skin was slightly warm, a sign that she had only been dead a short time. Josuke began to panic. What was he supposed to do? Should he just walk away, pretending he had never found her?
No, wait. That would be stupid.
He thought to himself. The last thing he wanted was for someone to think that he was the one who had killed her. He stayed on the ground there for a long time, wondering what to do.
Grandpa! I'll call Grandpa at the police station!
Josuke stood up, and then he heard the rustling noise again. He looked around, but still there was no one there. He started to sweat. Could whoever have done this to the woman still be nearby? The thought of that terrified Josuke. From here, Josuke whips out his cell phone and he calls the police. About 20 minutes later, the police were crowded around the little wooded area Josuke had found the body in. He watched as the police investigated the crime scene, standing a good distance back on the street. He wondered if the person who had been watching him was still nearby, though they had most likely fled the scene once they realized the police were coming.
Who would do something like this?
He wondered to himself.
Hey, Josuke.
Josuke's grandfather, Ryohei Higashikata, approached him. His grandfather is a tough but friendly man, and the closest thing Josuke has to a father. Josuke always loved to hear his stories from working on the police force, a job he had done for the last 35 years.
Hey, Gramps!
Josuke calls back.
We found her right where you'd said she'd be. I'm sorry you had to be the one to stumble on that. It's a horrible sight to see.
It's alright. What do you think happened to her?
I haven't the faintest clue. In all my years on this job, I haven't seen anything like this, not once. But I'm glad you called us instead of trying to handle it yourself.
Yeah, no problem.
Josuke remembered how he had tried to use his ability to save the woman, but he couldn't tell his grandfather that. He couldn't tell anyone. No one could see the ghost-like figure he could summon, so there was no point in telling anyone about it. They would just think he was crazy. So he never did. Ryohei keeps talking.
But anyway, this will be an important lead. This is the first real evidence we've had in the last 6 months that all the disappearances around town could be something worse. We've never found any bodies before. Every time we tried to find the victims, the trail always went cold.
Like they just vanished into thin air.
Josuke finished for him. His grandfather had told him the stories of the long string of disappearances in town before. Josuke thought it was strange, too, that so many people seemed to be missing, and thought it had to be something else.
Exactly. Everyone else, there was no trace left of them, like they had just been going about their daily business and suddenly evaporated off the face of the earth. I'm sure this will bring us much closer to finding the murderer.
Murderer, huh? So you think all these people going missing are being killed?
I'm afraid so. I don't see any other explanation, and you finding this body practically confirms it. I think we're dealing with a string of murders, not just a series of missing persons cases.
Josuke nods grimly. It was strange to think that such a thing was happening in Morio, a place that always seemed to be peaceful, quiet, and above all else, mundane. What was happening to this quiet little town?
Hey, Gramps. Look, I know I already asked you this, but please.
Then you should already know my answer. Sorry, I know you're eager, Josuke, but I just can't let you help on this case. It's too dangerous for you on the police force.
But Gramps, if something really dangerous is happening in Morio, then I want to help stop it. What if something like this happens to you or Mom?
All the more reason for you to not be involved, because I don't want you to get wrapped up in all this and end up like that woman in the bushes. I'm sorry, Josuke. Please just trust me on this. You've already done a massive service to this case by finding that woman.
Josuke clenches his fist, but he doesn't argue. His grandfather could be a stubborn man, so it would do no good.
But anyway, you're gonna be late for school. Here, I'll give you a ride. Get in the car.
The last thing Josuke wanted to do was go to school with all the questions about this case buzzing around in his head, but he knew better than to argue with his grandfather. He follows Ryohei to get into the police car and head to school. As Josuke approached the car, he noticed something in the corner of his eye. He stops to look. Further down the street, the man in the white trench coat was standing there, watching from far away, his eyes trained intently on Josuke. Josuke looks back, but this time the man doesn't turn away. Instead, he keeps watching. Josuke feels suspicion rising up within him. Who is this guy? He seemed to be following Josuke since this morning. A horrible thought went through Josuke's mind. What if he's the one who killed that woman? And more importantly, why does it seem like he's following Josuke around? Josuke clenched his fist. He starts to walk toward him slowly, his conviction to talk to the man stronger than it had been back at the square. If it turned out the man was dangerous, Josuke wasn't afraid of him. He had his ability to protect him.
Josuke!
Ryohei calls to him.
What are you doing? Let's go, you're going to be late.
Gramps, that guy down the street.
Josuke starts, but suddenly stops. The man was gone. Josuke blinked, but he was still gone, like he had just disappeared into thin air.
What are you going on about? Get in the car now! I don't want to have to handcuff you and force you in here.
Ryohei called back. Josuke looked one more time back to where the man had been standing, but there was still nothing there. He walked slowly to the police car and got in the front seat. Ryohei revved the engine to life and started driving toward the high school. As they drove through the peaceful streets of Morio, Josuke wondered if the man had been real, if he could just disappear like that. He shuddered at the thought. Ghosts freaked him out more than anything.
No, he was definitely there. I don't think I would have seen him twice if he wasn't real. Who was he?